Tonight, a Nashville pastor is being hailed a hero after stopping this man. You see him right here waving a gun at the front of a Sunday service after getting up from near the front. Police identified this suspect today, who is now facing 57 counts of felony aggravated assault. You can see the pastor charge and tackle the man. The pastor and some other congregants kept him pinned to the ground until police arrived. No shots were fired. Tonight, the fallout from that horrific, deadly concert horror in Houston. The FBI is now joining the criminal investigation into just what happened as we get more terrifying images of the chaos. The surge toward the stage as Travis Scott performed. Fans crushed, people trampled, the cries for help ignored. And tonight, ABC News has obtained the festival's operation document, what it shows, and the urgent question for so many: how could this happen, and how could the concert continue for 40 more minutes? Tonight, a major milestone in the pandemic. The U.S. lifts travel restrictions on dozens of countries. The first packed flights arriving from overseas, travelers required to provide proof of vaccination and negative COVID tests. And the emotional scenes as loved ones reunite after so much time apart. Dramatic testimony in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in the trial for Kyle Rittenhouse, the medic today who said, "I thought I was going to die." And in a different courtroom, the graphic evidence presented today in the trial of 3 men charged with killing Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. Family members either looking away or leaving the room entirely. Tonight, that bipartisan infrastructure bill is now passed, but how soon could America's roads, bridges, and broadband actually see improvement? And what about the hundreds of thousands of jobs promised? And our journey to the world's largest temperate rainforest, a place some call the lungs of America. Tongass National Forest in Alaska is now squarely at the center of a global debate over whether you can protect the planet and all the while help an economy dependent on so many of its resources.
I'll lose my grandchild from here because we won't have the jobs to support them.
I want my great-granddaughter to be able to walk this land and breathe this fresh air, touch these trees, know who they are. Not much to ask.
Our in-depth report from Alaska in just a little bit. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We begin tonight with the fallout from that concert horror in Houston. The FBI is now joining the investigation into the Stampede at the Astroworld Festival that cut at least 8 lives short. Today, Harris County officials released the names of those 8 victims. They were high schoolers, college students, artists, dancers, athletes, all brought together by their love of music and what they thought would be a fun night. The youngest, just 14 years old, John Hilgert, was a 9th grader. His school's baseball coach describes him as one of the nicest human beings he's ever met. The oldest, 27-year-old Danish Bag. His family says that he died saving the love of his life, his fiancée. Tonight, those that were there amidst the chaos are joining the growing calls for action and accountability. Why did Travis Scott continue playing for roughly 40 minutes? Did the superstar even know what was happening in front of him? And who had the authority to stop that concert? Lawsuits have already been filed, and we're standing by to be joined by a survivor. But first, our Marcus Moore leads us off.
Tonight, the FBI is now assisting in the criminal investigation into this deadly crowd surge at Houston's Astroworld Music Festival. The families of the 8 killed, who range in age from 14 to 27, demanding answers.
You go to a concert to have fun. You don't go to a concert to die.
50,000 fans filled NRG Stadium Friday for the first night of the 2-day concert headlined by rapper Travis Scott. When Scott took the stage a little after 9 p.m., concert goers pushed their way forward, seen here in this Apple live stream, pressing others into the barricades. Quentin Savage's brother fell and got trapped underneath a mountain of bodies for 20 minutes. Once free, they made their way to event staff.
I was like, there are people dying. Like, you have to cancel the show. And the guy said word for word, it's a mosh pit, what do you expect?
At one point, the crowd heard chanting, "Stop the show." Stop the show! Stop the show! By 9:30, authorities say reports of injuries were pouring in. At 9:38, police declared the concert a mass casualty incident. Still, the show went on for nearly half an hour longer. One woman saying she climbed the stage platform to beg the camera crew to help. Scott appearing to acknowledge an ambulance in the crowd.
There's an ambulance in the crowd. Whoa.
At 10:10, the show was finally stopped. Today on social media, backlash about the concert going that long, with some sharing clips of other artists pausing shows so that fans can get medical attention.
If you want to take a step back,
tonight, these images from earlier in the day show security already overwhelmed. Masses of people storming through metal detectors and pushing over fencing. Arturo Sanchez among the dozens transported to the hospital. Trampled, he suffered a heart attack.
You felt like you were gonna die.
Whenever I hit the floor and that guy was on me, I was like, this is it. Like, this is how I'm gonna go out.
Scott, along with concert organizer Live Nation, now facing a growing number of lawsuits. A day after the tragedy, the rapper taking to Instagram.
I could never imagine anything like this just happening.
As so many find this still so hard to believe, Marcus Moore joins us from Houston outside that growing memorial for the victims. Marcus, Houston's police chief released a statement saying he did meet with Travis Scott and the head of security on Friday before their show. What's he saying about that?
Lindsay, he said that he expressed his concerns about public safety and also asked Scott's team, for Scott and his team to be mindful of their messaging on social media. Also, in addition to that, tonight, Live Nation has come out with a new press release saying that they will respond to those lawsuits at the appropriate time. Lindsay.
Marcus Moore, our thanks to you. Joining us now is one of the survivors from the Astroworld concert, Cynthia Lira. Cynthia, first off, we're so sorry for what you endured. What do you remember from that night?
I remember just being so excited to be there. And then it was 3 hours before Travis started. And I was just waiting there at the front. And then 30 minutes before it all happened, people started pushing like real tight to the front. And then it was to the point where like you had to have your arms like this because you could not breathe, like your chest was being compressed the entire time. It was 5 minutes before. There was no oxygen left to breathe because I'm a shorter person, I'm 5'4". Everyone around me was like 5'6" or taller. So there was like no oxygen left to breathe. And then when the minutes started, someone told me to, like, I gotta go. And I also had to go. I felt like I was gonna pass out if I stayed there longer. And then the concert started and like we were trying to go back, we were trying to get out. And there was no space left to move. And it was just very traumatic seeing how like no one would like make way for you because either some of them did not care, other people really could not move. And
so what was happening? The crowd all of a sudden at once started moving toward the stage, or what were you experiencing personally right where you were?
Yeah, so the people did start to push towards the front. There was like lots of waves of people just pushing forward. And then Travis at one point said everyone moved side to side. And when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, no, like that's gonna cause people to fall down. And that's when like sinkholes of people started falling. And then that's when I became trapped in the bottom of everyone.
And you went into lengthy detail on Twitter about what happened to you. You mentioned not getting into an ambulance because you don't have health insurance. Have you been able to get medical attention yet? And how are you feeling now? Because you talk about not feeling like you had enough oxygen at the time.
Yeah, so a lot of people on Twitter, which I'm thankful for everybody to get the responses, they were recommending me to go anyways, that if there's going to be a lawsuit, that they will pay for it. So I did. I'm going to the hospital yesterday. They did a CT scan. Everything was fine. I still have some like numbing in my right arm, and my right knee is also a bit injured, but those are just injuries that with time they will heal. So I'm relatively good.
Did you see people who potentially had injuries around you who didn't seem like time would be able to heal? People who were passed out or worse?
Yeah, there was a victim in front of me. He was in the same pile of bodies as I was in. I saw him carrying out at the stretcher. There was another girl that I was holding her hand. I hope she's doing fine. She was also at the bottom of the pile. I saw another girl. She had lots of bruises and inflammation in her face. She was red. She could barely hear me. And, yeah.
And you tweeted, I barely survived one of the worst concert tragedies in history. Someone needs to be held accountable. In your opinion, who should be held accountable?
I believe Travis Scott should be held accountable. He knew what was going on. He saw the crowd. He saw the ambulances there. He did not do anything to stop it. There's been many other concerts where I've seen artists stop if somebody passes out. He saw people passing out. He didn't stop it. the crew member with the girl in the camera, he dismissed it. He didn't do anything to stop it. So I think staff should have been more prepared, and Travis Scott should have stopped the concert when he saw all of this happening.
I mean, but there was a lot of activity going on the stage, and he was into the performance. Do you think that it's possible, though, that he didn't see what was happening?
There was an ambulance in the middle of the crowd with flashing lights. He saw the ambulance. Kylie Jenner posted that on her Instagram story, too. She saw the ambulance, and nothing was done.
Do you see yourself ever going back to attending concerts in the future?
If I do ever go attending concerts, I will be staying in the back where there's oxygen and room to breathe. And, yeah.
Cynthia Lira, we thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and certainly wish you all the best.
Thank you for the opportunity of sharing the story.
Another major milestone was achieved today in the world's battle against COVID. The U.S. has now lifted its travel restrictions on dozens of countries, including Canada, some in Latin America, and most of Europe. As you can imagine, there were many tears and sighs of relief as some of those flights landed. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has this report.
American borders reopening today for thousands of fully vaccinated visitors from 33 countries for the first time in at least 18 months. For families and loved ones separated by the pandemic, emotional reunions.
She was a little girl when I last saw her. She's a big girl and an adult now.
Bhavna Patel finally getting to meet her grandson.
There's no words. You can't describe. How do you describe this feeling? You know, it's such a joy.
Celebrations kicking off early in the UK as crowds lined up to board planes to the US. Twin flights taking off together from Heathrow Airport and getting a big welcome on arrival in the US.
I feel like David Beckham. It's crazy.
Those visitors 18 and older must show proof of vaccination and a negative COVID test within 3 days of traveling. And at the US border with Mexico and Canada, proof of vaccination only, as thousands of vaccinated travelers crowd checkpoints and airports. In Los Angeles today, a protest against a vaccine mandate for city workers. But in New York City, the mandate appears to be working. 93% of city workers are now vaccinated. But over the weekend, an appeals court blocking the Biden administration's mandate for businesses. The owner of this hardwood company in Memphis doesn't plan to enforce the new rule.
I think it's very important you get vaccinated. I, however, think the government has no right to tell you to get vaccinated.
Vaccinations of 5 to 11-year-olds this week ramping up at pharmacies. And across New York City, pop-up clinics at public schools.
This is basically the best feeling of triumph I've had in, years.
Over the weekend, even Big Bird announcing he got the vaccine, tweeting, "My wing is feeling a little sore, but it'll give my body an extra protective boost that keeps me and others healthy." Big Bird drawing praise from the president, but backlash from Senator Ted Cruz, tweeting, "Government propaganda for your 5-year-old." Lindsay, a U.S. government official tells ABC News Pfizer is likely to seek authorization from the FDA for vaccine boosters for those 18 and older as early as this week. No word on when a decision could come down, but health officials have said they expected a third shot would be necessary to boost protection. Lindsay.
Stephanie, thank you. And now to the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, the teenager charged with killing 2 and injuring a 3rd during police protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Tonight, the dramatic courtroom testimony of the medic who was the only person shot by Rittenhouse and survived. Here's ABC's Alex Perez.
In court today, jurors for the first time hearing from the man who was shot by Kyle Rittenhouse and survived. Gage Grosskreutz testifying about when he initially came upon Rittenhouse armed with a semi-automatic rifle.
I thought that the defendant was an active shooter.
Thinking Rittenhouse had shot people, Grosskreutz started following him that night as the teenager appeared to be running away. Prosecutors playing a live stream video Grosskreutz recorded. You can hear Grosskreutz asking Rittenhouse questions.
Hey, what are you doing? You shot somebody? Who shot?
Rittenhouse, prosecutors say, had already shot and killed Joseph Rosenbaum when Grosskreutz says he witnessed him shoot Anthony Huber, who also died. Armed with his own Glock pistol, Grosskreutz testified he pointed his weapon in Rittenhouse's direction.
What was going through your mind? That I was going to die?
Rittenhouse shot Grosskreutz in the arm. Grosskreutz testified he never intended to shoot Rittenhouse, but the defense arguing Rittenhouse only fired in self-defense.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him that he fired, right?
Correct.
Alex Perez joins us now. And Alex, this trial is certainly moving at a really fast pace. What's coming next?
Yeah, Lindsay, jurors hearing testimony from witnesses very quickly over the last few days. Coming up next, we believe the prosecution could rest their case as early as tomorrow. The defense would then begin presenting their case, and this could go to jurors possibly sometime this week. It still remains unclear when exactly that would happen. Now, if convicted, Rittenhouse could face life in prison. Lindsay?
Alex Perez, thanks so much. Now to the other trial we've been watching all day. The three men charged with murder in the death of Ahmaud Arbery in Brunswick, Georgia. On the second full day of trial, we heard witness testimony from crime scene investigator Sheila Ramos, who processed the scene following the shooting, and officers Ricky Minshew and Adam Jackson, who arrived at the scene after Arbery was shot. Here to break it all down for us is ABC's Alex Boucher. Alex, what were the key takeaways today?
Well, Lindsay, I'll give you three key takeaways. The first is the issue of neighborhood safety. The defense has used an uptick in crime in that neighborhood as a reason for defendants Travis and Greg McMichael and William Roddy Bryant to being on edge, for them feeling fearful. But we also saw the prosecution pick at that a little bit through the testimony of former Officer Minshew, who said that that neighborhood is part of one of the most populous areas that they patrol, and it was also one that had the lowest amount of crime. Something else that stuck out to me was the processing of the scene. We saw this through the testimony of investigator Sheila Ramos, and the defense kind of picking at the fact that she looked inside rather outside, and kind of laying the seed of doubt that potentially outside that crime zone, maybe Ahmaud Arbery during that chase had ditched a weapon. Now, I want to be clear that there is no evidence that Ahmaud Arbery was armed the day that he died, but that was part of the defense laying the groundwork that there might be some seed of doubt there. And the third thing that I'd bring up is this connection between the McMichaels and William Roddy Bryant. Now, the defense wants to sever as many ties as possible between the two, because that gets to this idea of a conspiracy between all three parties, right? But something that was interesting that was brought up in the testimony from former Officer Minshew, as he talks about hearing Brian talk about seeing Ahmaud Arbery running down the street, seeing the white pickup truck, and then yelling out to that pickup truck, "Y'all got him," and then jumping into his pickup and following in his Silverado. And then there's this moment where he says he thought that Ahmaud was going to get away. And so the prosecution, I suspect, going forward is going to lean into that to try to connect all three defendants.
Yeah, we can imagine that that is the case. And there was certainly a lot of graphic testimony and video once again today with the Arbery and McMichael families right there in the courtroom for much of it. Did you get a sense of the effect on them and also the jury?
Lindsay, it's a really, really stark image seeing Wanda Cooper-Jones, that's the mother of Ahmaud Arbery, in this courtroom for much of this graphic testimony, sitting only feet away from the mother of Travis McMichael, the wife of Greg McMichael. And it's played out that way the last 2 days of trial, Friday during opening statements, and again most of today. But something else that when you talk about having all this graphic video and these graphic images, the jury is there taking and absorbing all of this as well, right? And Friday we saw at least one juror shield her eyes during the first police body camera footage that we saw that was very, very graphic. Well, today there were more graphic images, and I can tell you that the jury was engaged, they were taking notes, they were absorbing it all.
And to think one juror actually having to shield her eyes. Alex Boucher, thank you so much for all those details and your reporting from today.
Thank you.
Now to Washington, where President Biden is celebrating a major victory with the passage of his $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan late Friday. The administration says Americans will soon see the first results of those new investments. Democrats now turn their attention to the $1.75 trillion social spending bill. But can they get this one across the finish line? Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, President Biden celebrating the passage of his trillion-dollar infrastructure package, something presidents have promised for years.
We can't afford Washington politics to stand in the way of America's progress.
Our infrastructure will once again be the envy of the world.
Finally, Infrastructure Week. I'm so happy to say that. Infrastructure Week.
The bill funnels billions to upgrade public transit, improve water supply, and expand broadband internet to rural communities. It aims to put hundreds of thousands of Americans to work, rebuilding roads and bridges like this one in Sharkey County, Mississippi. It's been completely closed off. So for farmer Jeffrey Mitchell, a 5-minute trip to transport his crops is now over an hour.
What is the cost of inaction for farmers like you?
You know, I guess the cost of this action would be, you know, having the inefficiency and the, you know, liability of moving, you know, around to another bridge when we could just drive across that one.
Pretty easy fix.
Yeah, I just need a bridge, and we all do, you know. It's not just me.
Mississippi is expected to get $225 million for bridge repairs, and money soon to flow across the country. Michigan may get $1.3 billion to help clean up the lead from its water, and New Jersey could use the funding for a new tunnel to New York. Today, I asked Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg how long it will all take.
We were down in Mississippi talking to farmers who have had bridges closed down in their area for 2 or 3 years. So when exactly can Americans expect to see a difference in their lives?
The short answer is as fast as many of these agencies and workforces can absorb those dollars.
Rachel Scott joins us now from the White House. And Rachel, this bipartisan bill passed late Friday, but President Biden still has not signed it into law just yet. Why the delay?
Well, Lindsay, the president wants a pretty big signing ceremony here with both Republicans and Democrats on hand. Remember, 13 Republicans in the House voted for this bipartisan infrastructure package. So he wants them here at the White House for that signing ceremony. Congress is out on recess this week. They'll be back in town next week. We're expecting the president to sign that into law pretty soon, Lindsay.
And on that larger $1.75 trillion spending package, what are the next steps on that in Congress?
Yeah, well, Democrats are saying one down, one more to go, but that will be a very big challenge. That much larger social spending bill with funding for universal pre-K and for child care. Still some pretty big disagreements over the size and the scope of that package, what to include, including paid family leave, which we know one moderate Democratic senator is not on board with. Bottom line, Democrats are looking for a vote on that by Thanksgiving, but that may be a very big hurdle for them to get to. Lindsay?
Rachel Scott, and so we wait. Thank you so much for your reporting. Staying in Washington now, where the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol has issued a new round of subpoenas targeting 6 senior Trump campaign officials and advisors. It comes amid a new report about former President Trump's final hours in office, threatening to destroy the Republican Party and start his own. ABC's chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl has the inside story in his new book, Betrayal.
On the day Donald Trump left the White House for the last time, he decided that if he lost the election, he would take the Republican Party down with him.
So, have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Inside, he was fuming. As I report in my upcoming book, Betrayal, the final act of the Trump show, soon after boarding Air Force One for the very last time, Trump took a call from Republican Party chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. According to multiple sources familiar with the conversation, Trump told McDaniel he was done with the GOP. "I'm starting my own party," he said. "You cannot do that," McDaniel told Trump. "If you do, we will lose forever." "Exactly. You lose forever without me," Trump replied. "I don't care." Republican leaders responded with a warning. If Trump left the party, they would stop paying his legal fees, and they would take control of his email list of donors, which Trump rents to candidates for millions of dollars. The hardball tactics worked. Trump backed down.
All right, thanks to Jonathan Karl for that. Trump and McDaniel both issued statements together denying this report, but Jonathan Karl reports that the account comes from multiple high-level GOP sources who directly witnessed that call. When we come back, the school bus that lost control and plummeted right into a creek. Our Michael Strahan sits down with NBA legend Scottie Pippen. His eyebrow-raising comments about his playing time with Michael Jordan and why he's walking back earlier comments that he made that his former coach Phil Jackson is racist. But up next, our journey to Alaska to see America's largest forest and learn why scientists say places like it are critical in the fight against climate change.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back.
We're surrounded by people squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
Seems to change just about every day.
what is it that you really want to know, need to know,
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
This is American history. A violent white mob, a brutal attack, 300 black Americans killed right here in America. Now, it is time to uncover Tulsa's buried truth. The gripping story brought to light in a new podcast from ABC News. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Sex, gambling, fraud, betrayal, and murder. Cutthroat Inc., the podcast. A family on a mission to find their son. A year's worth of conversations with the killer. Cutthroat Inc. Subscribe for free now on your favorite podcast app. Assault on the Capitol, the ABC News original, exclusively on Hulu, now streaming. Now with so much on the line, more Americans are turning to David Muir and ABC's World News Tonight than any other program across all of television.
Welcome back. Next to our climate series, Saving Tomorrow. We recently traveled to Tongass National Forest, Alaska, to learn more about a debate that could have implications for us all. Scientists say older trees, like the ones found in the Tongass, are critical in the battle to contain greenhouse gases, but they are valuable for loggers. So we wanted to know, can you protect the planet and at the same time boost an economy that relies on so many of its resources? It's been a decades-long struggle in the communities we visited in Southeast Alaska.
If you listen closely, you can hear just how alive this land is. Living, breathing, teeming with life.
Even the pine needles it has is full of life.
The Tongass is known as the crown jewel of American forests, sprawling across 17 million acres of land, covering more than 80% of Southeast Alaska. Its vast and rugged terrain is home to the bald eagle, brown bear, and 5 species of salmon.
There are so many reasons to protect this forest.
This lush and dense land, the world's largest intact temperate rainforest, is a critical refuge for its vibrant ecosystem. It's also critical to the planet, as it's responsible for removing nearly 8% of the country's carbon emissions. That's why some call the Tongass the lungs of America, and many who care about it are collectively holding their breath.
It's not technologically difficult.
Global leaders have pledged to end deforestation by 2030, but for decades in Southeast Alaska, they've seen how environmental commitments can change simply by virtue of the person living in the White House.
Where's your Amazon box is going to come from? American consumer still wants this stuff. We're producing it here. It's a good job for the U.S. people, good jobs for Alaskans.
Conservation advocates accuse loggers of not being able to see the forest for the trees. This region is struggling. in part due to the pandemic, which led to far fewer tourists the past 2 summers, which dealt a major blow to the local economy.
How do you raise a family on $15 an hour for a 5-month job? That's tourism. How do I do that? I can't do that. My kids can't do that.
Logger Eric Nichols says he can return some good-paying jobs to the community if he's allowed to gain more access to the Tongass for his company.
Look at this. This is wild. We depend on this wildness as indigenous people.
A Tlingit native, Wanda grew up on this land, where her tribe has deep ties to this Alaskan forest.
The wood products that these trees provide us, we don't just cut it down and let it land. We create a spot for it to land so it doesn't split, so it's worthwhile. That isn't what happens with clear cuts. It's total disrespect.
She's hell-bent on preventing more trees from being cut down inside the Tongass. She's even gone all the way to Washington, D.C. to fight for the tree's preservation. The Tongass was ground zero for massive clear-cutting in the late 1900s, resulting in about 1 million acres of the ancient forest being chopped down. And it still has the scars to prove it. Majestic forest reduced to splintered woods in some areas in an effort to feed the American consumers' ravenous appetite for wood.
It's a crop. It grows back. If you don't want a farmer to cut his corn down, don't eat corn.
In 2001, loggers had their financial legs cut out from right under them when President Bill Clinton, in his final days in office, enacted the roadless rule.
Preserving roadless areas puts America on the right road for the future.
President Bush, then Obama, then Trump, and now Biden have all tried to reverse their predecessor's decision. The rule prevents road construction as well as timber harvesting on more than 9 million acres in the Tongass National Forest. This map shows that protected land. And this map shows how much of the Tongass could have been opened up under the previous administration. At this time, the roadless rule remains in place for now.
We're the largest state in the country by far. This forest is larger than most states. There's incredible opportunity to provide lumber and lumber products for the United States and possibly other parts of the world. This is an opportunity for us to do it here again and provide jobs, revenue, and wealth.
The governor points to the missed economic opportunities in the state. Between wood and minerals, there could be billions in untapped natural wealth in Alaska accessible by road. But many scientists say we can't afford to sacrifice the health of the planet anymore for economic growth, especially in places like these so-called carbon sinks. In fact, 111 scientists from across the country wrote a letter to President Biden asking him to take the roadless rule one step further and permanently install protections and create a strategic carbon reserve system.
Is this how our story is due to end? A tale of the smartest species doomed by that all-too-human characteristic of failing to see the bigger picture in pursuit of short-term goals.
In Glasgow, there was a declaration that forests like these are among nature's best tools to combat emissions.
Why do we need carbon sink? Why is it so important?
With climate change, we have more CO2 in the atmosphere. These old forests, they're able to store carbon, so it's not in the atmosphere, so it's not contributing to warming and to climate change. They're helping mitigate the effects of climate change.
So it's a scientific fact, non-negotiable, that the old growth actually does absorb more carbon.
Old growth forests, yeah.
Meredith Traynor, a conservationist, says the older the tree, the more effective it is at removing carbon dioxide.
There is no one tree scenario where we're going to solve climate change, right? This is about managing a whole forest a certain way. It's the whole system that works together to sequester carbon, and old growth is much more effective at doing that than young growth forests.
It's always interesting when you get people really out to the woods and try to understand what they want to preserve.
The Tongass is the last national forest that still allows large-scale clear-cut logging of ancient old-growth trees. And leaders in the timber industry say that's not a problem because they call trees a renewable resource.
I mean, it's a renewable resource. We cut trees down because there's a demand for that product.
The timber industry is only allowed to work in 2% of the Tongass.
2%, that's all we can harvest on. So how much do we need? Do we need 100%?
How much do you want?
I want enough to have an industry. We need about 5, maybe 6% to have a continuous industry up here.
A number that could give them access to up to an additional 500,000 acres.
But some people will argue, though, that timber is an old relic, really, that it's been replaced by tourism. And not only do you guys rely now on tourism, but also the salmon fishing, and that when you cut the trees here, that impacts the wildlife, that diminishes the number of salmon.
We don't believe that.
But scientists disagree. They say the whole system is connected, something fishermen here know firsthand. Commercial fishing is one of the largest employment sectors in southeast Alaska. In Sitka, an island town of about 8,000 known as a mecca for salmon fisheries, we met Marsh Skeel.
Logging in Tongass puts my industry, my company, and all of our fishermen's livelihoods at risk. The damages streams and lakes, freshwater ecosystems that salmon rely on, that fishermen rely on, that this community relies on. They're kind of ignoring all the jobs that are tied to what exists already.
But the governor says he's fighting for the future of Alaska as a whole.
There's this narrative that's trying to be pushed, that if you touch Alaska, you will damage it permanently and ruin it. That's not the case.
Do you feel that there's a responsibility here with regard to the Tongass?
There's a global responsibility.
That includes the Tongass.
Well, if you want to continue to live in a wood house and use paper towels and cardboard boxes, where would you rather have that material come from?
Loggers in this area say it could help the people here more than it could harm the environment.
Are you concerned at all about climate change?
No.
Not concerned about the planet, global warming?
No.
This tug of war between the environment and the economy is both personal as well as far-reaching here.
How concerned are you about global warming and climate change?
We are in a serious, serious crisis. Why can't we start repairing our habitat and protect what we have? I want my great-granddaughter to be able to walk this land and breathe this fresh air, touch these trees, know who they are. It's not much to ask.
Our thanks to everyone we met in Alaska who took the time to share their viewpoints with us. And now let's bring in Maggie Ruley, who once again this week is keeping track of all that crucial global climate in Glasgow. And today the buzz was all about a visit from a former president.
It was, Lindsay. Former President Barack Obama was in town. Lindsay, I have to tell you, we have seen more than 100 world leaders, business leaders, even celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, but no one drew the crowds like Obama, which is saying something when you compare him to Leo. But, you know, he had hundreds of people standing outside of his speech, and he used this moment to really stress the urgency of the situation, urging people to act now. You know, remember, Obama was the one that pushed through the Paris Climate Accord, and he reminded people that that was just supposed to be the beginning. Glasgow is when they really follow through. He also told people, you know, climate isn't a partisan issue, it's a global issue. And he said that at the forefront, the people that bear the most of this are often young people. They're the ones that are going to be living through these climate changes. So he urged leaders to give young people a seat at the table. And he even did that while he was here. You know, Lindsay, we were lucky enough to sit in on a round table that President Obama hosted with 14 young people from all over the world. And he told them to stay angry, to stay fighting, but also to stay pragmatic. He gave them this advice. Take a listen.
The danger of our activism is that we're typically talking to people who already agree with us. We're not oftentimes talking to big parts of our populations that either don't agree with us or at least have different priorities.
Lindsay, we spoke with a few of the young people at that event. They all told us that it meant so much to them to be able to sit down with someone like Obama, and they hope that other world leaders will do this as well, giving them a real seat at the table and really listening to what they have to say, Lindsay.
I imagine that that was quite impactful for those young people there. And beyond President Obama, the theme was about adapting, particularly the places that are facing new climate realities. Walk us through a bit of that.
Yeah, Lindsay, this was really interesting. It was Adaptation Day, and it's all about places that climate change has already impacted. I know you have seen this as well in Alaska. And these places, we're told by some experts, are already facing near extinction. So what do? You have to adapt to climate change as it stands right now. This was a big focus today. More than many countries came together, raising more than $200 million, including the U.S. that was a part of that pledge. And they also really focused on locally led adaptation. So focusing on the communities first, bringing them in to be a part of this. This was by far the most anyone has ever talked about adaptation at a COP, which really tells you sort of the state of the world as well, Lindsay, that we're gone past just mitigation and preventing climate change to now how we're going to live with this as a world, Lindsay.
And we all have to learn how to adapt to this new reality. Maggie Rulli, our thanks to you as always. Still ahead here on Prime, the deadly shooting inside a Target and the manhunt for the suspect accused. Hall of Famers lashed out against Aaron Rodgers for how he handled getting COVID, but one company he does a lot of work with is standing by the quarterback. We'll explain. And Elon Musk is asking the internet for investing advice, but is there more to the story? We take a look by the numbers, but first our post of the day, actor Alec Baldwin on how he thinks movies should handle the issues of guns on set moving forward.
This week, travel live to the bottom of the Earth. And remember to bundle up, because temperatures can be more than minus 120 degrees down here. See the wonder, see the impact of climate change, and yes, see the penguins. What other morning show brings you to the furthest reaches of the world? Amy Robach, live from the icy sheets of Antarctica. Come see the Earth you don't know this week. Only on Good Morning America.
I risked my life. I put my family in danger. If I was caught, they would have put a bullet in my head. But it was the right thing to do. It was the only thing to do.
Terror plot foiled in Garden City, Kansas.
That would have been one of the most deadly acts of domestic terrorism ever in the United States.
It would have been Oklahoma City.
He put his family, himself, in jeopardy for us.
With so much at stake, Sunday mornings, this is the place. Taking on the tough questions with straightforward reporting. See why Sunday mornings, more Americans are now turning first to ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos.
Welcome to This Week.
Christopher Steele.
The guy who picked a fight with 2 presidents, and he's lived to tell the tale. That now infamous dossier.
Supposedly a tape showing prostitutes hired by Donald Trump urinating on a bed, and would be quite a tape if it in fact existed.
I said take out the PP tape.
It quickly became a question of how much of this was accurate.
This is the stuff of movies.
A lot of this is the stuff of movies. A story of epic proportions.
Phony stuff.
It's a bunch of crap.
It changed history.
We have to be really careful.
Someone needs to go public. This is my real life we're talking about. And I'm scared.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back. We're surrounded by people
squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
Welcome back, everyone. And stop me if you've heard this one before. Billionaire Elon Musk is in the news for something that he posted on Twitter. Let's take a look by the numbers. Over the weekend, the Tesla founder tweeted a poll to his 62.5 million followers, asking them to help him determine if he should sell 10% of his Tesla stock. It comes as he and other billionaires have faced some scrutiny for paying low or even zero in taxes on their assets, like stock that's only taxed when it's sold. 3.5 million people responded to the poll, with 59% saying that Musk should sell 10% of his shares, a poll Musk says he'll follow. Musk Musk is the largest holder of Tesla stock, owning 170 million shares. So his promise to liquidate what could be some $20 billion worth of his shares sent Tesla's stock price tumbling down nearly 5% for the day. But there's more than a Twitter poll driving his decision. As Musk has said recently, he has stock options for more than 22 million shares, so that will expire next year. Unless he cashes them in, they disappear, and the gains on those stock options will mean a hefty tax bill of more than $15 billion in the coming months. So any stock sale now would help him pay off Uncle Sam. But Musk can afford the bill. Tesla stock has shot up nearly 47% in the past month after record Tesla sales, as well as an announcement by Hertz to purchase 100,000 Teslas in the next year for their rental fleet. Tesla shares closed at $1,163 a share today, making Tesla one of $6 trillion American companies. And the Forbes real-time list puts Musk's net worth at more than $300 billion today, easily making him the richest person in the world. And we still have lots to get to here on Prime tonight. The hand signal popularized on TikTok that led to a rescue of a missing girl. And Scottie Pippen setting the record straight on his own time with Michael Jordan and what he thought about the documentary The Last Dance. But first, look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
An extraordinary story.
A computer salesman was supposed to report to prison to begin a 17-year sentence.
They let him turn himself into jail with no escort.
No one thought he would run.
How do you evade capture for 25 years? How do you do that?
Now, join the search, following the U.S. Marshals as they uncover new leads in a global manhunt. Can you help catch this fugitive?
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man? Listen and join the all-new hunt wherever you get your podcast.
National parks are incredibly safe places, but crime will happen.
Hey, Mama, my wife has fallen.
This is two wives for Harold that have died now. Something's not right here.
This is the testimony of Elizabeth Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes is finally going to trial. To this day, Elizabeth maintains her innocence. We'll take you inside the courtroom. Follow The Dropout, Elizabeth Holmes on Trial, wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, here we go.
1 week. 7 days. Dozens of concerts.
Thousands of country music fans.
And me.
I'm gonna show you everything.
Spend a week with us.
We've got something very special for you.
1 week in the life of country music stars. You won't believe what our cameras will catch.
Here we go.
Backstage Pass. Countdown to the CMAs.
Tonight at 10/9 Central on ABC.
And it's finally here. Nearly 20 months after the U.S. closed its borders to international tourists, the country lifting its ban for vaccinated travelers, families reuniting with emotional embraces. Travelers need to show proof of a negative COVID test no more than 3 days before travel. Flights packed. Many inbound international flights Monday sold out. This as more children ages 5 to 11 get vaccinated. Meantime, the Justice Department is vowing to defend the Biden administration's vaccine mandate for all businesses with 100 employees or more after a federal appeals court temporarily blocked it this weekend, questioning its constitutionality.
As investigators comb through cell phone video working to piece together the timeline of the chaos that erupted at Travis Scott's deadly Astroworld music festival. 8 people killed, 25 rushed to the hospital, and nearly 300 treated for injuries on the scene. It happened as the crowd seen in this Apple Music live stream surged toward the stage. The crowd chanting, pleading with Scott to stop the show. It's unclear if Scott could hear them, the rapper though at one point stopping the performance before continuing. Authorities said they couldn't immediately stop the concert or more chaos would have ensued. Multiple lawsuits have already been filed against Travis Scott, Live Nation, and others. A criminal investigation also underway. The 30-year-old rapper posting this video addressing the tragedy to his 43 million fans on Instagram.
I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this happening.
Back at the venue, flowers and cards honoring those who were killed.
We will always celebrate you.
Overnight, the Green Bay Packers mustering just one touchdown in their loss to the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday, with superstar quarterback Aaron Rodgers forced to miss the game after a positive COVID test. The reigning NFL MVP confirmed Friday he is unvaccinated. The backlash to Rodgers' absence and his defense of it, swift. The NFL does not have a mandatory vaccine mandate for its players and coaches, but those who are unvaccinated must wear masks inside team facilities, be tested daily, and follow social distancing guidelines. Rodgers taking issue with those protocols. And now Prevea, a local healthcare organization, ending their partnership with the star quarterback, saying the separation was mutual.
But companies like State Farm continuing to support him, saying in a statement, "We don't support some of the statements that he has made, but we respect his right to have his own personal point of view."
A deadly shooting at a Target store terrifying shoppers. Police in Columbus, Ohio say a gunman shot and killed a man outside the store today. Witnesses telling local media they saw the victim's body lying on the ground near the entrance. The manhunt now underway for the suspect. A school bus with students on board crashed into a creek Monday morning in eastern Pennsylvania, according to police. The bus was traveling in the lane furthest from the creek when it lost control, went down an embankment and into 2 feet of water. Officials said the people injured included students and the bus driver. A total of 9 people, including 8 students, needed medical transport to an area hospital. The injuries were said to be non-life-threatening. Wang Yaping has become the first Chinese woman to conduct a spacewalk as part of a 6-month mission to the country's space station. 3 spacewalks are planned to install equipment in preparation for the station's expansion. China's military-run space program plans to send multiple crews to the station over the next 2 years to make it fully functional.
Next to the distress signal, a missing girl had apparently learned on TikTok that led to her rescue. Here's ABC's Janae Norman with this incredible story.
TikTok to the rescue. A missing 16-year-old girl from North Carolina is home safe after investigators say a trick she learned on the popular social media app may have led to her dramatic rescue. The Laurel County, Kentucky Sheriff's Office says they responded to a 911 call from a driver claiming to see a female passenger in a nearby vehicle making hand gestures that are known to symbolize domestic violence on TikTok.
Silver Toyota Corolla just hit the interstate, female in distress, trying to flag down traffic.
The 61-year-old suspect, James Herbert Brick of Cherokee, North Carolina, was arrested during the ensuing traffic stop.
Our guys were waiting at the top of the ramp. We had one cruiser get in behind the vehicle. We had another cruiser get in front of the vehicle. We boxed it in.
The hand gesture that saved the day. This SOS from TikTok that gained popularity during the pandemic shutdown as a signal for people to indicate they were unsafe.
Your hand is up like this, then you tuck your thumb in and all 4 fingers over that thumb and back and forth.
Our thanks to Janae for that life-saving information there. Next, NBA legend Scottie Pippen is opening up in his new memoir, Unguarded, on his relationship with Michael Jordan and his take on the 1990s Chicago Bulls dynasty as told through the hit docuseries The Last Dance. ABC's Michael Strahan reports.
He's as legendary as they come.
Now the gift to Pippen from Jordan, the slide by Pippen, a beautiful play.
6 NBA championships, 6-time NBA All-Star, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, Hall of Famer. Scottie, you did everything that you could do in the game. Now in his new memoir, Unguarded, Scottie Pippen is sharing intimate details about his road to superstardom.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to Bulls basketball.
Including what he really thought about the docuseries The Last Dance, which followed the Chicago Bulls dynasty in the 90s. Pippen says when he agreed to be filmed, he wasn't aware it would focus so heavily on Michael Jordan. You come out swinging in this book, and right off the top, you have a lot of criticism about The Last Dance.
I thought it was a great documentary. I felt like the documentary only told a story that sort of glorified him as a player and not glorified us as a team.
You call Michael Jordan selfish in the first chapter. Why is that?
I mean, he was a great scorer, but a lot of things that he did was based on him as an individual. And I think basketball is a team game.
Watching you and Michael on the court, it looked like 2 best friends out there just crushing everybody. What was your relationship like off the court?
It wasn't what you saw on the court. We always will have that respect for each other, but our friendship is not where people see it on TV think it is.
Do you think that Michael Jordan would be as successful without you?
No. But I don't think I would be successful without him. I think we both complemented each other in a lot of different ways. And we kind of competed and pushed each other to be great.
Pippen says The Last Dance was a chance for Jordan to tell his story, but his new book is a chance for Pippen to tell his. Pippen's story began with learning the game on a dirt court in Hamburg, Arkansas, a rim attached to an old light pole. You say some of the best games ever played were on the dirt court. Why is that?
I was learning. I was growing. That was the fun part of it because there was never any expectations or pressure.
The youngest of 12 children, as a kid, his older brother Ronnie was partially paralyzed by a school bully. Later, his father would suffer a stroke, leaving him disabled.
Well, it gave me a lot of responsibilities at a young age, you know, to help take care of them and to be there for my mom. And I grew up fast.
Was that a motivating factor for you to play sports?
Yeah, it was motivating. I mean, I was trying to find my way out.
After being kicked off the basketball team in high school and without a scholarship, he'd go on to play for the University of Central Arkansas.
Scottie Pippen.
At 21 years old, Pippen was drafted 5th overall pick, landing him with the Chicago Bulls.
All the work that I put in really became fruitful for me that day, and I was able to finally take a deep breath.
The book also detailing a dark moment in his relationship with then Bulls head coach Phil Jackson. In 1994, there was an issue during a game where Phil Jackson wanted you to inbound the ball instead of take the last shot, and he deferred the last shot to Tony Kukoc. For years, you said Phil Jackson is a racist.
I felt like that I had earned my right to take that last shot. I felt like he disrespected me at that moment.
Looking back on it after all these years, you don't feel that way about it.
When you're a player and you're in the heat of the moment, those things go through your mind. But now that it's over, I've had a lot more great times with Phil than I did bad times. And that's why I say that.
Pippen's career in the NBA would last 17 seasons, and he'd be named one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. He retired in 2004. A year later, the Bulls retired his jersey.
That was a special moment for me. It just, you know, shows the hard work that I had put in and, you know, the belief that I had in myself.
And it's amazing how fast it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's,
like that?
Yeah, because you're always trying to prepare for the next challenge.
Before we ended, I had one final question. How do you want to be remembered?
That's the greatest of all time.
And that's a great answer.
Our thanks to Michael Strahan for sharing Scottie Pippen's story with all of us. And before we go tonight, the image of the day. Take a look at that embrace there. Embraces and moments like that playing in airports across the country. So many families separated due to the pandemic and the restrictions imposed for travel to the United States. Now allowed to give each other those hugs, feet off the ground again here in this country. And that is our show for this hour. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, we're staying on top of a few things, including a look at the survivors of gun violence. We follow one woman who survived the mass shooting in Colorado earlier this year as she struggles to move forward. And Congressman Adam Schiff joins us to talk about his new best-selling book and the latest on the January 6th investigation. Stay with us.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back. We're surrounded by people squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
Christopher Steele, the guy who picked a fight with 2 presidents, and he's lived to tell the tale.
That now infamous dossier.
Supposedly a tape showing prostitutes hired by Donald Trump urinating on a bed, and would be quite a tape if it in fact existed.
I said take out the PP tape.
It quickly became a question of how much of this was accurate.
This is the stuff of movies.
A lot of this is the stuff of movies. A story of epic proportions.
Phony stuff.
It's a bunch of crap.
It changed history.
The ladies you love, the hottest topics happening now. There's only one place to find it all.
You guys are having the hard conversations. I love The View.
The most watched #1 daytime talk show is The View. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
When you wake up in the morning, when you wake up in the morning, darling, I'll be by your side. I'll be there by your side. I'll be everything you wanted. I'll be there by your side. If you need a light to shine it, hold up your hand, let the stars shoot again, let the light shine in through the dark.
Good morning, America.
More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.
Hi there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We're monitoring several developments here at ABC News at this hour. It was another day of graphic testimony in the trial of 3 men charged with killing Ahmaud Arbery. Prosecutors showed images of his gun wounds. Arbery's father had to leave the courtroom. His mother looked down as the first officer on scene described his final moments. Wall Street may be euphoric at the passage of the infrastructure bill, but for Main Street, the supply chain crisis means higher prices this holiday season. But consumers have built up an estimated $2.5 trillion in savings, it's believed, and the National Retail Federation is forecasting sales may rise as much as 10%. And the Milwaukee Bucks became the first NBA team to visit the White House today since 2016. President Biden honored this year's champions. During President Trump's administration, disagreements with his policies led teams to skip their visits for the prior 4 years. Now to the coronavirus pandemic. The U.S. lifted restrictions today on travel from a long list of countries like Mexico, Canada, and most of Europe after more than a year and a half due to the pandemic. This as more American children get vaccinated against the virus ahead of the winter months. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more.
American borders reopening today for thousands of fully vaccinated visitors from 33 countries for the first time in at least 18 months. For families and loved ones separated by the pandemic, emotional reunions.
She was a little girl when I last saw her. She's a big girl and an adult now.
Bhavna Patel finally getting to meet her grandson.
There's no words. You can't describe. How do you describe this feeling? You know, it's such a joy.
Celebrations kicking off early in the UK as crowds lined up to board planes to the US. Twin flights taking off together from Heathrow Airport and getting a big welcome on arrival in the US.
I feel like David Beckham. It's crazy.
Those visitors 18 and older must show proof of vaccination and a negative COVID test within 3 days of traveling. And at the US border with Mexico and Canada, proof of vaccination only, as thousands of vaccinated travelers crowd checkpoints and airports. In Los Angeles today, a protest against a vaccine mandate for city workers. But in New York City, the mandate appears to be working. 93% of city workers are now vaccinated. But over the weekend, an appeals court blocking the Biden administration's mandate for businesses. The owner of this hardwood company in Memphis doesn't plan to enforce the new rule.
I think it's very important you get vaccinated. I, however, think the government has no right to tell you to get vaccinated.
Vaccinations of 5 to 11-year-olds this week ramping up at pharmacies. And across New York City, pop-up clinics at public schools.
This is basically the best feeling of triumph I've had in, years.
Over the weekend, even Big Bird announcing he got the vaccine, tweeting, "My wing is feeling a little sore, but it'll give my body an extra protective boost that keeps me and others healthy." Big Bird drawing praise from the president, but backlash from Senator Ted Cruz tweeting, "Government propaganda for your 5-year-old."
Our thanks to Stephanie Ramos. And just a few moments ago, you heard about the high prices Americans are facing on everything from food to gas to what you want to put under the Christmas tree. ABC's chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, has more.
Tonight, Americans gearing up for their biggest holiday shopping season ever. The National Retail Federation forecasting sales will rise as much as 10.5% to $859 billion. U.S. consumers built up an estimated $2.5 trillion in savings in the wake of the pandemic. Now, coupled with stubborn supply constraints, backlogs at ports, out-of-space warehouses, and persistent labor shortages, that demand surge pushing prices higher.
It's getting annoying. Every time I go food shopping, my food bill every week is up like $30 to $40 from what it used to be.
IKEA and Mondelez, the maker of Oreo cookies, the latest companies to announce they're raising prices.
We're going to all pay higher prices for the things we want to put under our Christmas tree. I think it's important for shoppers to shop early because it's going to take a while to get whatever it is that you want to give to your loved ones and your friends.
One other area where prices continue to climb are fuel costs at the pump. The national average for a gallon of gas is now $3.42, up more than $1 from a year ago. And those heating costs this winter in particular also expected to climb. Lindsay?
Rebecca, thank you. Now to the fallout from that deadly concert horror in Houston. The FBI is opening a criminal investigation into exactly what happened on Friday night. This comes as officials confirm the names of the at least 8 people who died. Marcus Moore reports from Houston.
Tonight, the FBI is now assisting in the criminal investigation into this deadly crowd surge at Houston's Astroworld Music Festival. The families of the 8 killed, who range in age from 14 to 27, demanding answers.
You go to a concert to have fun. You don't go to a concert to die.
50,000 fans filled NRG Stadium Friday for the first night of the 2-day concert headlined by rapper Travis Scott. When Scott took the stage a little after 9 p.m., concert goers pushed their way forward, seen here in this Apple live stream, pressing others into the barricades. Quentin Savage's brother fell and got trapped underneath a mountain of bodies for 20 minutes. Once free, they made their way to event staff.
I was like, there are people dying. Like, you have to cancel the show. And the guy said word for word, it's a mosh pit, what do you expect?
At one point, the crowd heard chanting, "Stop the show." By 9:30, authorities say reports of injuries were pouring in. At 9:38, police declared the concert a mass casualty incident. Still, the show went on for nearly half an hour longer. One woman saying she climbed the stage platform to beg the camera crew to help. Scott appearing to acknowledge an ambulance in the crowd.
It's an ambulance in the car.
At 10:10, the show was finally stopped. Today on social media, backlash about the concert going that long, with some sharing clips of other artists pausing shows so that fans can get medical attention.
If you want to take a step back,
Tonight, these images from earlier in the day show security already overwhelmed. Masses of people storming through metal detectors and pushing over fencing. Arturo Sanchez among the dozens transported to the hospital. Trampled, he suffered a heart attack.
You felt like you were going to die.
Whenever I hit the floor and that guy was on me, I was like, this is it. Like, this is how I'm going to go out.
Scott, along with concert organizer Live Nation, now facing a growing number of lawsuits. A day after the tragedy, the rapper taking to Instagram.
I could never imagine anything like this just happening.
So many still find it difficult to fathom. Our thanks to Marcus Moore for that. And now to Washington, where President Biden is celebrating a major victory with the passage of his $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill planned late Friday. The administration says that Americans will soon see the first results of those new investments. Democrats are now turning their attention to the $1.75 trillion social spending bill. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, President Biden celebrating the passage of his trillion-dollar infrastructure package, something presidents have promised for years.
We can't afford Washington politics to stand in the way of America's progress.
Our infrastructure will once again be the envy of the world.
Finally, Infrastructure Week. I'm so happy to say that. Infrastructure Week.
The bill funnels billions to upgrade public transit, improve water supply, and expand broadband internet to rural communities. It aims to put hundreds of thousands of Americans to work, rebuilding roads and bridges like this one in Sharkey County, Mississippi. it's been completely closed off. So for farmer Jeffrey Mitchell, a 5-minute trip to transport his crops is now over an hour.
What is the cost of inaction for farmers like you?
You know, I guess the cost of this action would be, you know, having the inefficiency and the, you know, liability of moving, you know, around to another bridge when we could just drive across that one.
Pretty easy fix.
Yeah, I just need a bridge, and we all do, you know. It's not just me.
Mississippi is expected to get $225 million for bridge repairs and money soon to flow across the country. Michigan may get $1.3 billion to help clean up the lead from its water, and New Jersey could use the funding for a new tunnel to New York. Today, I asked Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg how long it will all take.
We were down in Mississippi talking to farmers who have had bridges closed down in their area for 2 or 3 years. So when exactly can Americans expect to see a difference in their lives?
The short answer is as fast as many of these agencies and workforces can absorb those dollars.
Our thanks to Rachel Scott. And sticking with politics tonight, we're joined by California Congressman Adam Schiff. He's on the Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack. And of course, he led the first House impeachment of President Trump. His new book is now out, Midnight in Washington, How We Almost Lost Our Democracy and Still Could. Congressman Schiff, thank you so much for joining us. And congratulations, #1 New York Times bestseller list.
Thank you. No one's more surprised than me.
We're going to talk about the book in just a moment, but first I'd like to talk about the investigation into the January 6th investigation. Obviously today, your committee issued those 6 new subpoenas to Trump officials. Do you expect them not only to cooperate, but to also provide some interesting insight and new details?
We expect them to do their lawful duty, which means they've been given a subpoena. They're compelled to appear. We expect them to appear and provide their documents. If we don't, then we'll have to use the same recourse we did with Steve Bannon. We do think they have very relevant information to share with the committee. Several were involved in efforts to try to overturn the election by getting state legislators to send alternate slates of electors or delay sending any electors at all. Others were involved, Mike Flynn reportedly in a December meeting where they were talking about using the military to potentially stop the election from, or the peaceful transfer of power. So all of them have very important information.
Just last week, though, Jeffrey Clark, the former DOJ Trump official, he refused to comply. Of course, you just mentioned Steve Bannon as well, and contempt of Congress at this point. How do you, at some point, force all of them to talk? I guess, is there a way to tie their hands, so to speak?
Well, I think, you know, these witnesses that are defying the subpoena basically got the lesson from the 4 years of the Trump administration that the law didn't apply to them, that they were somehow above the law because the Justice Department under Bill Barr would not enforce the law and not enforce it equally. But we have a different Justice Department now. I think Merrick Garland understands the importance of the rule of law applying to everyone. And so it's our expectation that the Justice Department will prosecute those who do not comply with lawful subpoenas. And I think that will send a powerful message to others that, you know, the rule of law is back.
And just one more on this, and then we'll move on to the book. Is there any part of you that is concerned that if Republicans are to win and take control in the midterms, that potentially they could do away with this investigation altogether or pursue it with less intensity?
Oh, absolutely. I know they'll do away with it. The former president, Donald Trump, doesn't want the investigation to go forward. Kevin McCarthy does whatever he wants. That's why Kevin McCarthy rejected a commission that would have been equally represented by Democrats and Republicans. He didn't want any investigation to go forward. So yes, we need to make sure the investigation takes place, but we also need to make sure, in my view, that we don't allow someone like McCarthy to ever run the House.
Obviously, the efforts to impeach the former President Trump were not successful in the end. But in the book, you do talk about the heroes in those efforts, the people who give you hope. Explain that optimism.
Well, a lot of heroic figures emerged from the last several years. People like Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch, who defied the former president, and others in the State Department who told her not to testify, to ignore her legal duty. She did testify, paved the way for others, showed great courage, as did Alexander Vindman and Bill Taylor and so many others. And those are the examples we need to follow. The book is a lot about how members of the Congress and the Republican Party became enablers of the president's corruption. Donald Trump would not have been able to break down all these barriers, these democratic norms, without the help of so many Republican lawmakers. But I also want to tell the story of these heroic people that stood up to the former president.
In the book, you do detail the moment that you decided, okay, it's necessary, we do need to impeach him. But explain to our viewers that moment.
Well, I was not one of those calling for Donald Trump's impeachment from the first days of his office. And during much of the Russia investigation, I urged that we go slow and we let the facts speak for themselves. We let Bob Mueller finish his work. We finish our work on the investigation. But when that investigation came to an end, when Bob Mueller testified, and Donald Trump felt that he had finally escaped accountability for his Russia misconduct, it was the very next day that he was on the phone with the president of Ukraine seeking the help of yet another country to cheat in yet another election. And to me, that said that the failure to hold him accountable was leading him to do even worse abuses of power in office, and that impeachment was necessary.
You also write that President Trump weakened a number of our institutions. How so? And do you feel that it's anything that President Biden can't undo?
Well, he weakened it by breaking down the independence of the Justice Department under Bill Barr. Basically, that department became Donald Trump's criminal defense firm. Bill Barr intervened to make the sentencing of Roger Stone recommendation be more lenient. He intervened to make the case against Michael Flynn, another person who lied to protect the president, their case go away completely. Now we are restoring the independence of the Justice Department. Of course, the former president went after whistleblowers, went after inspector generals. I have legislation that would protect them from retribution like that. So I think the Biden administration and Congress is responding by trying to reestablish these democratic guardrails.
Lastly, what would you like people who read the book to take away from it?
It's a clarion call to action that our democracy is not assured. It's at a very fragile state. Republicans are going around the country right now stripping independent elections officials of their duties to try to overturn the next election if they lose. But we don't have to stand still for this. We all have a role to play, all of us, in the safeguarding of our democracy. Midnight, I titled the book Midnight in Washington because midnight is the darkest hour of every day, but it's also a time of hope because we know that what follows is light. We'll get through this. But what we do right now in this moment will determine how quickly we get through this.
Congressman Schiff, we thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you coming in studio with us. Midnight in Washington, How We Almost Lost Our Democracy and Still Could, is now available wherever books are sold. We turn now to the deadly epidemic of gun violence, which has spiked across the country during the COVID-19 pandemic. Tomorrow night, ABC News Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas will bring us a deeper look at the problem and potential solutions in an ABC News Live special. And tonight, we bring you his interview with one survivor of this year's deadliest mass shooting and the scars that she and so many Americans like her face after experiencing gun violence firsthand.
When Emily Giffen moved to Boulder, Colorado 8 years ago from Pennsylvania, it was a dream come true for a small-town girl.
When I had first moved to Boulder, the biggest crime was bike theft.
Not a place known for violence.
Not at all. The first place in my life I've ever felt safe to walk home from a bar at 2 a.m. and never be concerned about what could happen.
Breaking news out of Colorado. We are currently monitoring an active shooter at a Boulder supermarket.
But that sense of security was shattered on a cold March afternoon earlier this year.
The entire building is surrounded.
When 10 people, including a police officer, were killed during a shooting at a King Soopers grocery store in Boulder. The deadliest mass murder incident in the U.S. so far this year.
I woke up that day and it was a totally normal day at work. Everything was so normal that I was going to go home early.
She was working as a clerk at King Soopers when she stepped out for a break.
You decided to take a break and you went outside.
I was watching like a show I was really hooked on Netflix on my phone, and I heard just like pop, pop, pop.
She turned to a teenager sitting next to her.
I looked at her and was like, those weren't fireworks. And we see a man run across, and he's in our vision, and he just collapsed in the middle of the road.
They watched in horror as a male victim was shot before their eyes.
And then we see the attacker come up in the same line of vision, like he took the same path, So he passes the brick wall and we see him and he has his larger gun and he shot that man like 5 more times in the back.
And you saw it.
Mm-hmm.
The two huddled together in fear.
We were both just holding each other and she screams like, what do we do now? And I just like picked her up, picked myself up and was like, run that way, like run. And then as we're running, we heard another pop.
The shock of the moment, surreal.
What did I just see? What just happened? Like, and what am I supposed to do? And they do they train us at the store. You watch videos, but like when you're in that moment, you can't remember. Like, oh, the video said step 1 this, step 2 that, step 3 this.
So you think it's time to run?
Yeah. And I grab her and we just take off running.
My biggest fear was there could be a car accident.
Emily's mom recounting the horrifying moment her daughter called her screaming, the deadly incident unfolding hundreds of miles away.
Now with your hands up, unarmed.
I really couldn't even understand much. I kept trying to get her to calm down, and she just kept saying that, you know, somebody got shot, They shot him right in front of her, and she didn't know where to go. And she's trying doors, and doors aren't opening.
Emily begging her mother for help.
She was screaming and kept saying, you know, Mom, help me, help me. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I'm trying to calm her down, and then her phone died. And I just keep dialing her over and over and over. It was about an hour before she could get somewhere to, you know, to charge her phone to call me back. She was hiding in a stairwell.
That must have been the longest hour of your life.
It was terrible. I was just on the floor in shock.
Emily finally made it to safety, but the events of that day are seared in her mind. The trauma playing out over and over again.
For the first like month, it was just every time I closed my eyes, it was the only thing I could see.
But it was a moment she never thought would happen to her. Gun violence touching her life.
Do you think the American public understands how close, how near gun violence is to them? You may be walking around thinking that, oh, you're in a safe area, but that's what you thought.
Yeah, I don't think people understand. So to have that happen there, if you want to talk about somewhere it could never happen, like, it can never happen in Boulder. And it did, and it changes everything.
The 22-year-old suspect was charged with 10 counts of murder and dozens of attempted murder counts as a result of the shooting. Prosecutors are seeking a new evaluation after he was deemed not competent to stand trial. The Gun Violence Archive, a nonpartisan group tracking the daily toll of shootings in America, has documented at least 599 mass shooting incidents through the end of October, with 4 or more people injured or killed. That's 12% higher than the same period last year. The King Soopers shooting was one of 24 mass murders this year, which is defined as a shooting with more than 4 killed.
When do people start caring? Because just because you didn't know me or you didn't know those people doesn't mean it's not a whole community going through grief and loss and fear and trauma. And those things carry on to people no matter where you are or where you go in life.
But it's not just those who were present on that day. Their families also relive the trauma as they struggle to move forward.
I have nightmares about it. I hate her going places. You know what I mean? She goes to work, she's around people.
You worry even now?
Oh, yeah.
Months later, Emily now has a new life and a new job far from Boulder, working with her dad at his restaurant back home in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
I got a sunflower and the date.
Her tattoos permanently memorializing that day into her skin.
And it has all 10 of the victims' names.
But Emily says the pain of that shooting still haunts her.
There are days randomly I'll be driving to work and just start tearing up, and it is hard.
Pierre Thomas, ABC News, Washington.
Our thanks to Pierre for that and to Emily and her mother for sharing their story. And be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern and out west 9:30 Pacific for American Epidemic: One Nation Under Fire. Pierre's half-hour look exploring gun violence in America. Again, that's tomorrow night right here on ABC News Live. And still to come, could disgraced athlete Oscar Pistorius soon be set free from prison? And the dual marathons and the inspiring stories of the runners.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back.
We're surrounded by people squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yeah.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
Seems to change just about every day.
what is it that you really want to know, need to know,
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
This is American history. A violent white mob, a brutal attack, 300 black Americans killed right here in America. Now, it is time to uncover Tulsa's buried truth. The gripping story brought to light in a new podcast from ABC News. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Sex, gambling, fraud, betrayal, and murder. Cutthroat Inc., the podcast. A family on a mission to find their son. A year's worth of conversations with the killer. Cutthroat Inc. Subscribe for free now on your favorite podcast app. Assault on the Capitol, the ABC News original, exclusively on Hulu, now streaming. Now with so much on the line, more Americans are turning to David Muir and ABC's World News Tonight than any other program across all of television.
Welcome back, everyone. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Nicaragua's Daniel Ortega has nearly secured a fourth term as president, which would make him the longest-serving leader in the Americas. This comes after he detained opponents, canceled rival parties, and criminalized dissent. Election observers from the EU and the Organization of American States were not allowed to oversee the elections, and journalists were barred from entering the country. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the U.S. could possibly impose sanctions on the Central American nation for their, quote, undemocratic acts. South African Paralympian Oscar Pistorius is being considered for parole after having served less than half of his sentence for the 2013 murder of his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp. The Department of Correctional Services confirmed that to ABC News. But before an inmate can be taken before the parole board, a process known as the Victim Offender Dialogues needs to happen, which means Pistorius could have to come face-to-face before Steenkamp's parents. It's not yet clear whether her parents are willing to do so. And take a look at this video of Belarusian migrants trying to break the razor fence at the border released by the Poland Ministry of Defense. A NATO official called on Belarus to abide by international law and said the use of migrants by Lukashenko's regime is unacceptable. Officials estimated that more than 2,000 people were at the border, including various women and children. Finally, tonight, marathoners on both sides of the country hit the ground running over the weekend. Both the LA and New York City marathons were back in full swing after the pandemic pause. While the number of participants was slightly downsized, there was no shortage of inspirational stories. ABC's Will Gans has the details.
In the long race back to normal, runners on both coasts proving the finish line might be closer than ever before. The New York City Marathon and the Los Angeles Marathon returning after their pandemic pauses, held on the same day for the first time ever, and inspiration everywhere you look. Here in New York, 36-year-old Burke Miller, who was in the hospital just 10 months ago following extensive surgery to treat his second bout with testicular cancer.
Because it was COVID, I couldn't have any of my family. The worst days of my life and just in immense pain. I didn't really have anyone with me and was really struggling.
But through that pain, he decided he wanted to tackle these 26.2 miles.
And I'm sitting there basically immobile and say, hey, that's what I'm gonna do.
His 3 kids cheering him on when he finished his first ever marathon, setting an example for all of us.
One foot in front of the other, one step at a time.
And over on the West Coast, Rick Bingham finishing his 36th consecutive Los Angeles Marathon, completing every race since its inception in 1986. John Career winning in LA only 2 years after being passed in the final 200 yards. A heartbreaking second-place finish then, but a brilliant comeback to gold now. Natasha Cockram of Wales, the women's winner. Back in New York, Albert Career and Perez Yepchirchir, both of Kenya, winning the men's and women's races respectively. Everybody thrilled to be back and running together. Barbara Rubenstein, 91 years young, has been helping runners reach the finish line of the New York City Marathon for more than 3 decades.
Some man called out, "Thanks for all the years." And it's something that just hit me so emotionally, I actually had to stop and recompose myself to go on. And I never found out who said that.
We appreciate all of her inspiration and that of others. Our thanks to Will for bringing us that. And that is our show for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination?